Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 24 based on novel. So let's start. In addition, it will be on the shelves tomorrow. The growth of the new book is inseparable from the readers. Tomorrow's first subscription is very important. Very important. Very important. I hope you like the world I wrote, I hope you like the characters in it, and I hope its plot can affect you. It was written by me with my hard work. I tried my best to conceive the plot and make it look more story-like, so that it can bring countless laughter and even moving to all book lovers. Regarding piracy, I have always not supported the attitude of not encouraging and not scolding. I've also seen pirated copies. When I was in school, I didn't have enough living expenses, so how could I have the money to watch the genuine copy? However, I still hope that you can support the genuine version. To be honest, I think I spend a few hours a day coding and earning 1 cent per chapter. I deserve it. I want to live too. I hope you don't be stingy with the subscriptions in your hands. It's only a few dollars a month when you get it all in, and then you can safely throw it at Lemon and say, take it and spend it. Lemons are so grateful. The first order will determine the results of this book. As the saying goes, a soldier who does not want to be a general is not a good soldier. Here, Lemon urges you to throw all your subscriptions over. The growth of the new book, the recommendation ticket and the monthly ticket are also very important. Remember to vote, after all, these are the greatest achievements of the new book, and your support is my greatest motivation. I am eager to be known by more people. Every subscription, recommendation ticket, monthly ticket is very important to me. Grateful to have you. Listen to my story. Looking at Xiao Yan's stunned expression. The Golden Dragon King also smiled. He knew how shocking these four materials were to Xiao Yan, so he was not surprised. He just smiled and comforted. These things are extremely difficult to obtain, so I said don't be in a hurry. Your ancestors should be very relieved that you have this heart. Anyway, it's still a long time, we can do it slowly. His face gradually recovered. After a while, Xiao Yan smiled bitterly, feeling a little dizzy in his head. The essence bloodline of the 7th grade Emperor-ranked beasts is the superpower house equivalent to the 7-star fighting Emperor powerhouse, and the essence bloodline is the beasts. The thing that survives and grows is like the blood and marrow in the human body. If this thing is extracted from the body of the beast, the latter will naturally lose his life immediately. Therefore, if you want to get the 7th rank the bloodline of Warcraft's essence, then it is necessary to kill a super beast that is comparable to a 7-star Do-D. And this level of Warcraft, from birth to now, Xiao Yan has never even seen a single time. Let alone a kill. The so-called blood-shaping pill is not a simple thing. For the pills of the 3rd order peak of the Emperor, I am afraid that even the current president of the Qingcheng Alchemist Association will not be able to guarantee success, let alone. There are all kinds of strange and rare medicinal materials for refining the blood-shaping pills, and it is a great trouble to collect these things. With a bitter expression on his face, he nodded, and resurrecting the ancestor Xiao Xian really wasn't that simple. Xiao Yang sighed and said, I will keep this matter in my heart and look for opportunities in the future to find a way to complete the remaining 2 materials. It wouldn't be so troublesome to refine a body that an ordinary soul can accommodate, but the stronger the soul power and the strength of your ancestor Xiao Xian during his lifetime, the more stringent the requirements for the body will be. And I forgot to tell you that the most fundamental thing for refining the body is the fire of holy flame. The Golden Dragon King smiled and said, Holy flame? Hearing this, Xiao Yang's mood that had calmed down was also becoming more surprising. The most fundamental thing to refine the body actually needs the fire of holy flame. Xiao Yang also looked at his master Jinlong King floating in the air with surprise. Good. If it is an ordinary Dozan and Dosheng level body, it can be made with the flames in your body, but the body of a strong Do-D is different. When you are promoted to Do-D, you will be promoted successfully by absorbing the origin of the Emperor, and this origin of the Emperor has tempered the body, so that you can truly step into the Do-Di. If you compare the body that can accommodate the peak of the 9-star Dosheng to 10, it is enough to accommodate Do-D. The body of an Emperor is 100. The Golden Dragon King said solemnly. Hearing this, Xiao Yang also carefully recalled what his master Jinlong King said. And your current power of flame is not enough to refine the bones of the peak 7-star Do Emperor in your hand, and refining the body, the sooner the better, otherwise, the blood of the beasts will be exhausted and the medicine pill will take a long time. If the medicinal power disappears, then it is a failure. The Golden Dragon King said in a very calm tone. Indeed, in terms of Xiao Yang's current power of different fires, it would take several days to refine the bones of the peak powerhouses of the 7-star Do Emperor. On the one hand, the strength of the Emperor's skeleton in his lifetime was extremely terrifying, and the skeleton that formed him after death was powerful. It is also quite laborious to transform. Moreover, even if the rarity of the holy flame is compared to that of the strange fire, it is not too much. Whether it can be subdued or not is another matter, and all of these are enough to explain how hard the holy flame is to be found. Damn! It's really twists and turns. Xiao Yan couldn't help cursing after hearing that his master Jinlong King said this. But don't worry. When the matter in Qingcheng here is over, I will slowly guide you to find the holy flame that sits on this profound spirit continent. I just don't know how he is now. The Golden Dragon King also looked at Xiao Yang, who was a little depressed, and said comfortably. Xiao Yang suddenly became excited when he heard the words, and then looked at his master, the Golden Dragon King, with fiery eyes. Hey, don't try to tell me what to say, you kid. I know Xingyang, and I also know about your family, but I just won't tell you. The Golden Dragon King laughed. Xiao Yan's eyes returned to normal immediately, and then rolled his eyes at his master, the Golden Dragon King. When you are strong enough, I will naturally tell you one by one. As for now, let's go out of the ruins first. Looking at the stone room that was collapsing more and more, the Golden Dragon King also said. Yeah. Xiao Yang also knew that what his master Jinlong King said was true. Even though he had many mysteries, he had no strength. Boom! Pieces of boulders fell from the stone chamber. In the stone room of the Emperor, the blood was taken, and the bones were obtained by the destined people. It also lived up to the wish of this senior. While thinking about the milky white vindictiveness that enveloped the whole body, he waved his right hand fiercely, a space crack. It appeared in front of Xiao Yang. Of course, there is a ban on suppressing the strong in this ruin, so that the strong who surpass the 4-star Do Emperor cannot step into it, so even the space crack cannot be torn out, but with the loss of the Emperor's bones and blood essence, the ban is also slowly losing its strength. Time to go. Without hesitation, it turned into a milky white meteor and streaks into the crack in space. Half a month has passed since the opening of the World of Warcraft ruins. After being persuaded to retreat by the 7 major cities, they did not dare to step into the ruins, but everyone knew that this Xiao Yang was enough to obtain the largest number of the ruins. Therefore, the current Xiao Yang is also the mortal enemy of many of the heaven's favorites in the 7 cities. Especially that Wuhuan, who is even more worried about Xiao Yang being dressed in white on demand, and rumored to deal with Xiao Yang. As soon as the beast ruins came out, I could hear the roars of some monsters from time to time. Con was apparently sent out to fight for turf. A young man with a weak figure, with a dark heavy ruler on his back, was walking alone in this beast mountain range. This trip to the ruins is also a worthwhile trip, the strength of the peak of the Samsung Do-di. In addition, you can carry this heavy ruler with you. I have dealt with it for you. It usually looks like a bland black heavy ruler. This heavy ruler can suppress your breath. The strength of the peak of Samsung Do-di has been suppressed to in the middle of the 3-star Do-di, and when you take off this heavy ruler to fight against others, the power of the heavy ruler will increase sharply in an instant, which will undoubtedly be one of your means, and this heavy ruler is also really extraordinary. The Golden Dragon King is also satisfied. Nodded. Xiao Yang can also feel that this ancient ruler of different fires, which is formed by the fusion of 23 kinds of different fire powers, is definitely not simple. Before, his current strength was limited, and he could not explore the mysteries. Let's go back to Qingcheng first. I don't know what happened to Qing Yuan's little girl. The Golden Dragon King was also talking. Hand over that so-called great creation. I can consider to spare you not to die. There was a figure in front of Xiao Yang, and a huge red battle chi roared out like a cloud of fire, and on the cloud of fire, a slender figure stood with his hands behind his back, with a look of contempt. He turned his eyes to the young man with heavy feet on his back. Isn't this the martial magic that Wu Qing is known as the heaven's favorite son? Xiao Yang was also surprised. The number of times he and this martial magician had met with a single slap could be counted. Shouldn't there be a festival? Hearing this, Xiao Yang also cast his eyes on the big tree where the voice came from, and saw a slender figure standing with his hands behind his back, red do-chi roaring out and surrounding him. What did your excellency mean? Xiao Yang also said coldly. According to Yu Yu's words, the man in front of him was Wuhuan, the arrogant son of Wu Qing, but his strength was also a powerhouse in the late Samsung Do-di. However, what Xiao Yang saw about the latter half a month ago was only in the late stage of the 3-star Do-di, and now he can see some clues from the fluctuation of his Do-chi. It is also the pinnacle of Samsung Do Di. This should be some treasure harvested in the ruins, which led to the improvement of the strength to the level of the peak of the 3-star Do Di, otherwise it would not be so easy to advance through training. However, even though this martial arts is also the pinnacle of the 3-star fighting emperor, Xiao Yan is not afraid at all. Without further ado, although I don't know what you have to do with the mysterious guardian in white, this is the territory of my Wuchen. Hand over your good fortune. Wuhuan also slowly jumped down from a big tree, and then looked at the former coldly as if he was stunned by Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan didn't know whether to laugh or cry when he heard this. Afterwards, he also knew that although he could be recognized by a white robe before, the so-called good fortune did not need any flame power to absorb it. Being too powerful, Yi, the pride of the 7 cities, could not do anything, so he had no choice but to withdraw from the ruins. As for Xiao Yan being left behind by a white robe, although the fire elf's contribution is inevitable, there are also some personal feelings in a white robe. Although I don't know why, Xiao Yan always feels that this white robe seems to be the same as his own. The fire spirit in the body has some origins, but Xiao Yi is also in a state of degeneration, and Xiao Yang has no way to ask. Wuhuan, you can really talk nonsense. This is clearly the demonic beast mountains, so why is it your Wuqing's territory? And why should I hand over the good fortune I obtained with my own strength? Did your brain get caught in the door? Xiao Yan also happily looked at the aloof martial arts. Others might be afraid of his status as the young city master of Wuchen, but Xiao Yan would not. After all, this Qingcheng is just a rest stop for Xiao Yan. Worry-free and worry-free? Okay, Xiao Yan, do you really think we are fools? You worked so hard to defeat the 6 guardians of the emperor, but let you come to pick up this great deal. The smile on Wu Huan's face also gradually changed. Solidified. Xiao Yan also smiled lightly when he heard the words. It turned out that this Wu Huan turned out to be a person who would retaliate against Jizhen. Since you don't hand it over, then just die. Being buried in the depths of the demonic beast mountains is also your perfect destination. Don't worry, my Wu Huan has searched this area for hundreds of miles, and now there is no one else here except you and me. Wu Huan couldn't help roaring loudly. Oh. Xiao Yang was still a little worried. This place is also very close to the martial city. If one accidentally attracts the strong in the martial city, it will be troublesome, but now hearing Wu Huan say this, he can't help but feel relieved. Since your martial fantasy wants to kill me to get good luck, let's see if you have the ability. Xiao Yang also said with relief. Accept the call. Fire-killing palm. As soon as the shouting fell, Wu Huan just showed his body, and after a few flashes, he arrived in front of Xiao Yang and blasted out from the air with one hand and one palm. The terrifying strong wind directly ripped out the dark cracks in the space. Looking at the fierce attack from Wu Huan in front of him, it also changed Xiao Yang's complexion. Although this Wu Huan said that he would be punished, his strength should not be underestimated, nor should the dignified young city master of Wu City be underestimated. To say that it is late is fast. In the face of such a terrifying strong wind, it is possible that Xiao Yang will forcefully take it down. It is not that he cannot resist it, but it is not necessary. At the moment, Xiao Yang's body twisted strangely, and several afterimages appeared in the air. A few afterimages are impressively the manifestation of the highest realm that Sanqian Leidong has cultivated. Dangerously and dangerously, he avoided several strong winds, and after Wu Huan made his attack, his speed was also slowed down. Intercepting Wu Huan's terrifying attack, Xiao Yang swept his body and grabbed Wu Huan's forehead. Xiao Yang has always been that people don't commit crimes against me, and I don't commit crimes. Since this martial arts fantasy is going to kill him, there is no need for him to show mercy. It just so happens that there is no one here. Bastard, court death. Seeing this scene, Wu Huan's face was full of anger. He didn't expect that Xiao Yang was also a ruthless person. Grabbing the palm of his hand, a suction force burst out from the palm of his hand, and it directly uprooted a big tree behind it. The figure condensed in midair for a moment, and the big tree in the sky instantly pressed against his forehead to prevent Xiao's fire attack. Xiao Yang saw that he also took advantage of the body's shape and took the lead. With a big hand, he grabbed the tree in the sky, but before he could pull it hard, the fierce and unparalleled wind was coming from behind the ball. He smashed his head hard. Feeling the fierce wind behind him, Xiao Yang also smiled slightly, and then a beautiful 23-color fire lotus seed appeared in his hand. Xiao Yan also found that since breaking through to the peak of the 3-star Do Di, his signature method, the fire lotus seeds fused with 23 kinds of different fires, has become perfect with practice and can be condensed in an instant when his mind moves, which is also faster than before. It's a lot faster, but Xiao Yan also found out that even if the Buddha's Fury Lotus is formed by the fusion of many different fire powers, the suppression that can be obtained against the same level of power is getting smaller and smaller, and it is in the fight. On the mainland, Buddha's Fury Hualian has always been a signature method that can surpass the ranks and decide the outcome, but it is a little difficult to deal with the powerhouses of the same level on the Do Di continent. As a result, Xiao Yan has always had a vague guess in his heart. It seems that the strange fire in his body has been exhausted since he came to Do Di continent, as if it was in a dormant period. In other words, there seems to be something missing from the fire. Otherwise, the different fire and the holy flame belong to the power born between heaven and earth. How could the gap be so big? During the battle, it was too late to be distracted, and then he raised the Buddha's furious fire lotus in his hand and smashed it viciously at the Wuhuan in front of him. The Buddha's furious fire lotus roared away at Wuhuan. Wuhuan also shrank his pupils tightly, and then his fiery red grudge swept out in a frenzy to resist. Because Wuhuan is also a powerhouse at the peak of the 3-star Do Di, better than he felt a terrifying aura above this delicate Buddha's wrath fire lotus. At this time, Wuhuan had only one thought in his heart. If he was infected with the power of this fire lotus, then his fate would only be one. Damn it! I didn't expect that Xiao Yan would be so ruthless when he made a move. According to his family's information, it's not that he has superb refining skills, so that we can capture him back. I didn't expect it to be so tricky. Looking at the 23-color delicate lotus seeds that came slowly not far away, Wuhuan felt an incomparably powerful sense of crisis from it. Wuhuan clenched his teeth fiercely, his pupils shrank tightly, but he didn't dare to be slighted anymore. A deep shout suddenly came from his throat, and immediately the fiery red battle chi poured out of his body, and finally turned into there was a huge crimson fire cloud that was 100 feet long. As for his figure, he was in the center of the fire cloud, with some flames churning all around him, making a loud rumbling sound like waves crashing on the rocks in the sea, which made people feel a little depressed. That feeling is like facing the endless sea alone, making people unable to show the slightest courage to resist. The fiery red fire clouds filled the sky, and the fiery temperature enveloped the sky, but even so, compared to Xiao Yang's Buddha's furious fire lotus, which contained 23 kinds of different fires, it was not worth mentioning. Yihua has the terrifying power to change the world and the environment of a party. This is indeed true. With all the efforts, the surrounding area in the depths of the demonic beast mountains suddenly seemed to have been dry for a long time. Even the moisture in the air was evaporated. When the dry air was breathed into the body, a burst of air came from the throat. Painful dryness. Go? His eyes stared at the huge fire cloud that filled the sky and the earth under the display of martial arts. The whole body trembled slightly, and then a screeching sound that cut through the space suddenly erupted, turning into a colorful streamer mixed with a terrifying and unparalleled hot wind, overwhelming the sky and covering the fiery red sea of fire in the distance. Fire cloud. Cohesion. Triple Rashomon Gate. With a dignified expression, Wuhuan looked at the colorful streamer that burst forth. Wuhuan did not dare to hesitate at all. With a movement of his handprint, a shout came out from his throat. Immediately, the huge cloud of fire suddenly violently churned up, and the flames whistled and swirled. It turned out to be a feint, condensed into 3 huge light mirrors in front of him. The appearance of these 3-sided mirrors. In front of Wuhuan, a 3-layer powerful defense was formed. Although it directly caused Wuhuan's complexion to lose some blood in an instant, but obviously, this thing consumes a lot of vindictive energy. The mirror is huge and square in shape, but it has a powerful force that is slowly gathering momentum. Even Xiao Yang was taken aback when the huge 3-piece prism-shaped mirror composed of fiery red fighting chi appeared. He didn't expect this martial art to have such superb defensive means. Xiao Yang asked himself, I'm afraid even now, it is difficult for him to condense such complicated defense methods using strange fire or fighting chi. This Wuhuan is indeed worthy of being called the proud son of heaven, and he really has something special. Xiao Yang was surprised at the moment, but the Buddha Fury Hualian, who had already locked on the target, did not hesitate at all. It was like a teleportation. In a few flashes, it was not far from Wuhuan. The terrifying strong wind, even Wuhuan. The fiery red fire clouds that filled the sky beside him were slightly rippling. Defend. Looking at the oncoming terrifying fire lotus with an extremely dignified expression, Wuhuan's handprint suddenly changed, and with a low voice, the three-sided huge prism formed by its condensed energy emitted a ray of light like the dawn of dawn out of thin air. Immediately, it was firmly resisted in front of Wuhuan, as indestructible as a copper wall and an iron wall, as if he was not afraid to let the fire lotus collide fiercely. The distance between the two reached in an instant. Immediately, two terrifying energies that were enough to burn mountains and boil the sea collided like meteors in the nerves of Xiao Yan and Han Feng suddenly tense. Bang! The two are in contact. The entire Warcraft mountain range was silent, and then the energy between the heaven and the earth suddenly rioted, and the splendid energy flew everywhere. It seemed that they were all madly escaping from the impacted area. The energy of the sudden riot between the heavens and the earth made even the powerhouses far away from the demonic beast mountains stop their movements in panic, looking at the battle that was far away in the sky with unbelievable horror in their eyes. Looking at this, are some overlords in the depths of the Warcraft mountains fighting for their territory again. An old man looked at the huge explosion in the distance and couldn't help but say, "This is Wuhuan? Didn't he say that he went to the depths of the Warcraft mountains to hunt monsters by himself?" Looking at the fluctuations, he was obviously fighting against others. Fourth, take some people to take a look, just in case, the other kid who fought Wuhuan. In Wucheng, a middle-aged man exuding a monstrous atmosphere above the tiger seat, facing him a pale middle-aged man compared in action. The palm of the hand is spread across the neck. Yes. The figure also looked at the appearance of the city lord, and nodded knowingly. This fluctuation. It's Xiao Yan. Father, let's go. You girl, look at you in a hurry. A stalwart figure and a familiar figure were both Yueru and Yueyu. Boom! The silence only lasted for a moment, and a cataclysm-like energy storm erupted from a certain center point like a storm. The terrifying flame energy storm spread almost 100 meters away. Since the Buddha's furious fire lotus exploded, the terrifying power spread instantly. Boom! The terrifying power of different fires and the defensive power of the three-sided light mirror viciously merged together. The Buddha's fury lotus flew towards the light mirror under Xiao Yang's control. When it touched the first light mirror, Xiao Yang flicked it, and then the gorgeous Buddha's fury lotus was completely destroyed. Explode! Bang! At the moment when the Buddha's furious fire lotus exploded, the terrifying high temperature spread, and the terrifying power directly smashed the first light mirror away, and then hit the second light mirror with great force. The terrifying high temperature of the Buddha's furious fire lotus was mixed with extraordinary destructive power. After breaking through the first light mirror, it slammed into the second light mirror viciously, with a circle of fighting spirits of hundreds of meters. Practice rippling out from the collision of the two. The Buddha's furious fire lotus that Xiao Yang has condensed is constantly attacking, and Wuhuan is also mobilizing the vindictive energy of his whole body, desperately condensing towards the remaining two light mirrors of the three-layered Rashomon, trying to defend against the terrifying power of flames. Attack! After Xiao Yang's condensed Buddha's fury fire lotus broke through the first defensive light mirror, the power also weakened in waves. Obviously the so-called triple Rashomon's defense is also extremely powerful. However, Xiao Yang also snorted coldly, and then the burning dew in his body started to run wildly, and the overwhelming milky white flame fighting chi poured into the fire lotuses that were slowly resisting each other in the arena. Now that we have a vengeance in order to prevent future troubles, this martial arts has only one end. Die? The battle in midair continues. Wuhuan and Xiao Yang obviously used their trump cards when they played against each other. The Buddha's anger fire lotus exploded completely, and the terrifying flame ripples first broke through the first light mirror in an instant, and then the remaining power also roared away towards the second light mirror, its majestic and vicious smashing. Above the second light mirror. Bang! The terrifying power after the explosion of the Buddha's furious fire lotus suddenly formed an energy dragon surrounded by milky white flames under Xiao Yang's skillful control. Hit its mirror. Damn! Seeing this, Wuhuan also secretly said that such a situation is completely unfavorable to him. He is the only one who knows the state of his body best. If he cultivated his strength through hard work, then the triple Solomon that he displayed, even if Xiao Yang is a 4-star Do Emperor now, can't help him. It's just, hey, this Rashomon is an extremely superb existence in defense methods. Legend has it that there are 7 levels of Rashomon. Once the 7 levels are released, it can instantly cover a space of 100 miles, even if it is a peak of Do Emperor. No? It's comparable to God-level fighting skills. However, this boy named Wuhuan in front of him is full of fiery red aura, but he actually has an ethereal taste. Even the triple rash omen, which is comparable to the attack of a 4-star Do Emperor powerhouse, can't resist the power of your strange fire. The voice of the Golden Dragon King sounded from Xiao Yan's heart. And the aura of this martial arts is somewhat similar to the ghost you killed before. Although it was hidden deeply, I still discovered some of it. Hearing this, Xiao Yan was also a little surprised, so it's logical to say so. No wonder this Wuhuan has been deliberately dealing with himself. Go? Xiao Yang, who knew the truth, also smiled slightly, then flicked his finger on it, and several 7-color fire lotuses flew towards the battle. Although it is only a 7-color fire lotus, its power should not be underestimated, but this is not because Xiao Yang deliberately did not use the 23-color Buddha's Wrath fire lotus. In fact, the Buddha's anger fire lotus fused with 23 different fires consumes a lot of vindictive energy. Xiao Yang's current Dochigo method is only at the high level of the sky. He can't use a few times to integrate the Buddha's Fury Fire Lotus. He must also keep Do Chi in case of emergency, to prevent this martial arts from leaving behind. The milky white energy dragon and the second light mirror shattered in a stalemate for a few minutes, shattering in an instant like glass shatters, and then the dragon also took advantage of the situation to move towards the last light mirror. The last light mirror is obviously the one with the most powerful defense. Ha ha ha. You are really extraordinary from the lower planes. Wuhuan also roared when he saw Xiao Yang, who had broken his 2 Solomon defenses one after another, but anyone could hear it, and it was obvious in Wuhuan's voice also dignified. If this last Solomon is defeated, then Wuhuan will also be defeated. Hearing that, Xiao Yang also shrank his pupils tightly, and then looked at Wuhuan in surprise. Although he came from the lower plane, he has never told this secret to anyone else. With Qing Yuan's strength of Dosheng, of course he would not know, and Qing Yuan is still in a coma, and the other is the Alchemist Association. Needless to say, it can be known from the fact that Yueru did not hesitate to protect the law in the ruins before. Oh, Wuhuan, what do you mean by that? Xiao Yang also asked suspiciously. Ha ha ha, don't act like a fool with me. If others don't know, how can I still know? Is it easy to absorb the power of the previous magic shadow? Wuhuan's face also became hideous, and then his fiery red aura slowly wrapped around his light mirror. The last Solomon became stronger under the blessing of Wuhuan. This person can't stay. Xiao Yan also heard something different from Wuhuan's words. It seems that there should be problems in this Wuchen. Xiao Yang dare to take me a trick? Under the protection of the dazzling Solomon, Wuhuan also laughed, because Xiao Yang in front of him was only the strength of the middle stage of the 3-star Do Emperor, and he was the peak of the dignified 3-star Do Emperor. To deal with this kind of person, Wuhuan has a lot of power. The big self-confidence is sure to kill with one blow, so I can't help but say. I can't ask for it. Xiao Yang also poured an extremely tyrannical force on his flame giant dragon at the end, and then he didn't control the giant dragon, and let the giant dragon rampage and hit the last Solomon's sturdy light mirror. The giant dragon wrapped in milky white flame viciously hit the sturdy fiery red Do Chi light mirror, and sparks fluttered suddenly, and the sky deep in the demonic beast mountains also shook slightly. Behind the milky white dragon, Xiao Yang also stared at Wuhuan, and then slowly touched the heavy ruler behind him with his left hand. Under the protection of the fiery red light mirror, Wuhuan also held a long sword in his hand, and then the tip of the sword pointed to the place where Xiao Yang was. This sword is called Prisoner Yuan, and before you have killed a lot of heaven's favored people. You can die on this sword, and you will not waste your name as a first-rank alchemist. And I'm also very interested in the flame on your body. After that, Wuhuan's long sword tip, there was a circle of high-speed rotating wind blades, like a cyan sphere covered with blades. Is it? I didn't expect you to know so much, and I'm also a little interested in you. After Xiao Yang said, the Do Chi all over his body suddenly revolved, and the Fen Ju in his body was running at a high speed. With Xiao Yang. Prisoner. A passionate voice resounded from the depths of the Warcraft Mountains. The voice just fell, and the long sword in Wuhuan's hand soared several times, emitting a grey light, and a monstrous weather emerged, and then Wuhuan did not hesitate. It turned directly into a meteor and ignored where Xiao Yang was. Die? Wuhuan came a few meters in front of Xiao Yang in an instant, and found that Xiao Yang did not move, as if he had given up resistance, and then snorted coldly. Although this Xiao Yang is only in the middle stage of the 3-star fighting emperor, his refining skills are at the level of the emperor, and his soul strength is not weak, although he does not know what they want this soul for. Seeing Xiao Yan with his eyes closed, the long sword in Wuhuan's hand didn't stay too long, and the strange long sword in his hand suddenly trembled. A small, deep light almost the size of a thumb immediately shot out. Just as the light appeared, the space trembled a few times. The terrifying light attacked Xiao Yan, who was close at hand. Feeling the terrifying light that was so close at hand, Xiao Yan also suddenly opened his eyes, and then took off the heavy ruler behind him instantly. A giant dragon in a deep sleep suddenly woke up, and the powerful force and the terrifying light merged viciously together. Seventh layer, breaking the sky ruler. Destroy the enemy with 1 foot. Break it for me. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.